What if 34 military officers, intelligence officials, and government insiders, people with top secret clearances, all said the same thing under oath? That the US government has recovered non-human craft, has been reverse engineering them for decades, and has been lying to you about it the entire time. Does that sound crazy? Good. Keep watching. Folks, strap in. We are diving into the single most explosive government file of the modern era, the alleged UFO cover-up. Not the tinfoil hat version your weird uncle posts about. The congressional version. The version where decorated military veterans and career intelligence officers are sitting in front of elected representatives, on the record, under penalty of perjury, saying, "They lied to us all." We're talking UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena, which is what the government now officially calls what you and I call UFOs. And the question everyone is asking, is this finally the crack in the dam? Or is this the biggest psyop in history? Let's find out. Alright, here's what the official record actually shows, and get a load of this. It's already wilder than most people realize. In July 2023, the U.S. Congress held a landmark public hearing on UFOs, and it wasn't crackpots who showed up. It was David Grush, a former National Reconnaissance Office representative and decorated combat veteran, who testified under oath that the U.S. government possesses, quote, non-human origin technical vehicles that have been recovered and are being reverse engineered in secret programs hidden from congressional oversight. Also testifying, Ryan Graves, Executive Director of Americans for Safe Aerospace, and former Navy pilot David Fravor, the man who personally encountered the famous Tic Tac UFO in 2004. Fravor described a craft with no wings, no exhaust, no visible propulsion, moving in ways that defied every known law of physics. Then fast forward to September 2025. Yes, this is still happening, and the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee's Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets convened another hearing. Air Force veteran Jeffrey Nuxatelli told the committee, "What we saw changed our lives, the way we think about everything. It was incredibly profound." Current and former military officials described encounters with baffling orbs and craft that appeared to eclipse existing weapons technology. Lawmakers pushed for new legislation to protect these whistleblowers from retaliation. And then there's the documentary, The Age of Disclosure, a film featuring dozens of insiders alleging an 80-year cover-up, claiming the government has been hiding not just craft, but evidence of non-human intelligence itself. The film reportedly features testimony from individuals claiming direct knowledge of reverse engineering programs backed by private contractors shielded from government oversight. The Pentagon, for its part, denies all of it. The DoD stated it has found no credible evidence of extraterrestrial craft and no secret retrieval programs. They basically said, "Nothing to see here." You know, as governments do. Now here's where it gets complicated, folks, because not everyone is on board the disclosure train, and some of the skeptics are serious people. Dr. Joshua Semiter, a Boston University professor of electrical and computer engineering, who actually served on NASA official UAP investigation panel, looked at the evidence and pumped the brakes hard. His verdict: compelling testimony is not the same as compelling evidence. Semiter points out that the NASA panel, after a rigorous scientific review, found no credible evidence for extraterrestrial visitors. He warns viewers of films like The Age of Disclosure to curb their credulity, noting that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and so far the physical, verifiable kind hasn't materialized in the public domain. At the 2023 congressional hearing itself, doubts lingered even in the room. Several members of Congress noted that Grush's most explosive claims, recovered craft, non-human biologics, were secondhand. He said he was told these things by other officials. He did not claim to personally lay eyes on a crashed saucer. Critics also note a pattern. Every few years, UFO disclosure gets a wave of hype. Insiders make jaw-dropping claims, and then the hard evidence never quite arrives. Skeptics argue that some UAP sightings have mundane explanations: sensor glitches, adversarial drone programs, atmospheric phenomena, and that confirmation bias turns interesting anomalies into alien spacecraft in the public imagination. That said, and this is important, even skeptics like Semiter acknowledge that some UAP cases are genuinely unexplained. The debate isn't really, are there weird things in the sky? The debate is, are those weird things from another planet, and is the government hiding them? Okay, Okay, we've been doing the responsible journalism thing. Now it's time for my colleague, who I will describe as extremely well-read and extremely concerning to be around at dinner parties. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Let's start with what the documents actually show, because this isn't speculation anymore. Grush testified under oath with whistleblower protections to the Inspector General of the intelligence community. The IG found his claims, quote, credible and urgent. That's not a crackpot filing a tip. That's the system acknowledging the system might be broken.
Credible and urgent. Great. So the government found the government suspicious. Super reassuring. What's the next nightmare?
A funding structure. Grush specifically alleged these retrieval and reverse engineering programs are hidden inside private defense contractors, shielded from congressional oversight, funded off the books through what's called special access programs. Congress literally cannot audit them. Think about who benefits from that arrangement.
Oh, I'm thinking, and I don't like where my brain is going.
Follow the money. The defense contractors involved in advanced aerospace programs have reported billions in classified contracts with zero public accountability. If you had recovered technology decades ahead of anything on Earth, you wouldn't announce it. You'd quietly let private industry develop it. And you'd call anyone who asked about it a conspiracy theorist.
Get a load of this. So the theory is the most advanced technology in human history is sitting in a Lockheed Martin basement somewhere, and the shareholders are just vibing.
Look at the timing. The moment congressional oversight committees started pushing for access, suddenly you see a wave of official "we found nothing" statements from the Pentagon. The counter-narrative machine activates right when people start asking real questions. That's not coincidence. That's information management.
You cannot be serious with this. Okay, what else? What else? Hit me.
80-year timeline. The age of disclosure, which features testimony from dozens of insiders, alleges this goes back to the 1940s, not just Roswell. A sustained, multi-generational program of retrieval, reverse engineering, and complete information blackout. Not one administration, not one party. Every single president supposedly kept out of the loop by a permanent, unelected intelligence apparatus that answers to nobody.
Oh, it gets better. So not even the president knows. The most powerful person on Earth is just also getting played.
Multiple insiders have claimed exactly that. The program, if real, predates the modern CIA. It will be the most successfully kept secret in the history of civilization. And before you laugh, consider that the Manhattan Project employed 130,000 people, and the public had no idea until Hiroshima.
I hate that. That's a good point. I hate IT.
Then there's the suppression of witnesses. Several military personnel have alleged they were threatened, had their security clearances yanked, or were told by superior officers to stay silent after UAP encounters. The September 2025 hearing was literally convened because lawmakers said existing protections for these witnesses are inadequate. Why would you need protection from the truth if the truth is just weather balloons?
Okay, I'm not saying I believe you, but I'm also not saying I believe you. What's the end game here? Why hide it forever?
If one nation or one private entity cracks the propulsion system on a craft that moves without conventional physics, that's the end of energy as we know it. That's the end of military dominance as we know it. The entire global order is built on oil, jet engines, and nuclear deterrence. Non-human technology doesn't just change the game, it flips the board.
I need to go lie down.
Take your time. The craft aren't going anywhere. They've been here longer than we have.
Okay, we're done. Thank you. I'm fine. I'm completely fine. Here's the fascinating thing, folks, and I need you to actually pay attention for this part. The mainstream account, the alternative/skeptical account, and the conspiracy account all agree on more than you'd think. Everyone agrees there are genuinely unexplained objects in restricted U.S. airspace. Even NASA said so. The Pentagon said so. That part is not in dispute. Everyone agrees. The government has historically been less than forthcoming about what it knows. Decades of swamp gas and weather balloon explanations have permanently damaged public trust. Even skeptics concede the institutional credibility problem is real. Where they diverge is on the big question. What are those objects? The mainstream/skeptical view says sensor artifacts, foreign adversary drones, and atmospheric phenomena explain most cases, and that the gap between unexplained and extraterrestrial spacecraft is enormous. The insider/whistleblower view says the gap is already bridged internally, and the public just hasn't been told yet. Grush and others claim the U.S. government knows what these things are and has known for decades. The deep conspiracy view layers onto that. The cover-up isn't just bureaucratic embarrassment. It's an active, organized suppression by a permanent shadow apparatus that has captured the technology, weaponized the secrecy, and is prepared to discredit, retaliate against, or sideline anyone who gets too close. The uncomfortable truth: we don't have hard physical evidence to conclusively prove or debunk the wildest claims, and that ambiguity, that deliberate fog, is itself part of the story. All right, here's where I give it to you straight, no theatrics. Something real is happening. Multiple credible, decorated military and intelligence professionals have put their careers and reputations on the line to make claims under oath before the United States Congress. That is not nothing. The Inspector General of the intelligence community found Grush's claims credible enough to warrant urgent review. Congressional committees are passing whistleblower protection legislation in 2025, specifically because insiders fear retaliation. These are not the actions of a government that has nothing to hide. At the same time, the hard physical evidence has not entered the public domain. Testimony, however compelling, is not proof. Scientists like NASA-owned panelists have reviewed the available data and found no smoking gun for extraterrestrial origin. The jump from the government is being secretive about UAPs to they have alien spacecraft in a warehouse is still a very large jump. What the evidence does support firmly is this: there are real, unidentified objects in U.S. military airspace that outperform known technology. The government has been systematically non-transparent about what it knows. Credible insiders allege programs that Congress itself cannot audit, and the system of accountability that's supposed to prevent exactly this kind of secrecy has apparently failed repeatedly for decades. Whether that's aliens, adversarial technology, black-budget human programs, or something stranger still, the cover-up part, that appears to be very, very real. That's the UFO cover-up file, officially closed, unofficially wide open. Drop your theory in the comments. Hit subscribe if you want the next classified briefing. And remember, the truth doesn't care if you believe it.